Hi, my name is Bryce Wagoner, and welcome to the next episode of Shots from the Rail. On my right, our next guest, my former boss, my still friend, after 5 years, Jacqueline Gomba.
Hi.
Which means...
Thanks, Bryce.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
It means mushroom in Hungarian, apparently.
That it does. My last name means mushroom.
She is my mellow mushroom. Yeah.
The mellow mushroom. I like that. That's awesome.
So Jackie, we usually just try to have a little conversation, and then we kind of build up from there. Where are you from?
I'm originally from San Francisco. So I'm born and raised in San Francisco. I moved to LA maybe about 7 years ago. But I'm Bay Area, born and raised. Very much, you know where I'm from.
What? So did you, when you're up there and you moved down here, did you work in the restaurant, nightclub business?
When I was in San Francisco and when I came to LA, yeah. When I was in San Francisco, I actually came up in the club, and I started right when I turned 21. I just really like to party, and I like to bring a lot of friends with me when I partied, and then it became conversations of, you can get paid to do this. And I was like, what? I can get paid to party? Are you kidding me? So I just started going out, bringing out a lot of my friends. I became a San Francisco promoter, got really familiar with all the venues in San Francisco, and then started working operations and kind of started at guest list and ticket scanning, box office, doing artist liaison and stage managing, and that's kind of how I started.
So one of the things that's really, look, it's a huge genre of music across the world, but in particular California, EDM is huge. And so those were the clubs that you were working at in San Fran?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was working at one of the biggest EDM clubs in San Francisco. It's called Temple. It's in Soma. I pretty much spent 6 years there and really learned a lot about the club. And the club has always been there for me, even when I've really needed financial support and not sure what to do with my life. The club has always been there. So I like to say that the club life chose me. It's one of those things where it just always seemed to be in my life. And it really, learning that skill set in San Francisco really helped me transfer to LA, because when I came to LA, then I started managing clubs, and that was much different than understanding all these different pieces that I had learned. Now it was the big picture. So it's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
What are some of the clubs that you worked at in San Fran?
I worked at a club. Temple is where I started. I also worked at Mezzanine. I worked at a Live Nation venue called the Masonic, and that was kind of like Nob Hill area. So I worked at those venues when I was in San Francisco. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what made you want to make the transition to come to Los Angeles?
That's a really good question. I think everyone has their story. And for me, I really wanted to push myself in a few different areas of my life. So it was being in management, being in music, with fashion, with nutrition and health. And I ended up doing that, just transferring to LA. It was a dream that I had when I was 18. I've always wanted to be in the music industry. And so actually making that jump was really scary. I moved here with nothing but the items in my car and a bunch of debt, and honestly made it happen. It was a wild, wild transition for sure.
All my years out here, I've never heard a story like that. You hear it from people like me from North Carolina and Kansas and Ohio, and all that stuff. But when you're in the Golden State, you're in the Golden State. But to me, LA was never a real place. It was an idea. It was 2,500 miles away, and in one of the beach towns that I'm from a beach town, but another one we go to, Wilmington, North Carolina. There is a sign there that says Barstow, California.
Oh my.
2000. We're like, and years I'm like, just Barstow was not real. It was Mars to me.
It might still be Mars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Barstow is out there.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Like, we're in Barstow. I still have 5 hours.
Yeah.
Whatever the drive is from there.
Yeah. Totally.
So which way did you take? Did you PCH at all?
I've done the PCH. That is amazing if you have time, and I recommend allocating at least 12 hours to do your little stops at the farmer's market on the way down. I took the 5. I was like, I'm going straight to Burbank. Let's just get there. Let's hit the gas. Goodbye, Bay Area. We are ready for LA. So I just had the items in my car. That was it. That was all I had.
Do you know Zeitgeist in Berkeley?
I do know the Zeitgeist in the Mission District in San Francisco.
Yeah. One of my top 5 Bloody Marys in the world there, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember my first framboise there. I had no idea what a framboise was. And I'm at the bar with my friend, and then all of a sudden we smell this huge whiff of raspberries. I was like, what is this smell? What is going on here? We turn, and it's a bar back who was working at Zeitgeist and was like, this is a framboise? And I was like, okay, we were smoking blunts and drinking framboise in the back. Very San Francisco. Very
cosmopolitan.
Very, yeah.
We had, I was at this bar called The Third Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Third and Robertson.
Yeah. I know that bar.
That's where I got my big break, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
First big break, yeah.
Wow.
But
That's an iconic place, too.
And
really iconic.
they just shut down, actually.
No way.
Gone, yeah.
See, this is why I feel like nightlife is shifting.
And that was a place where we were really cool. I had this other French general manager there named Franco Elise, and he had this really, really cool chick who was in artist development at Universal Music. And I remember one day she brought in on her iPod, she goes, I'm not supposed to have this, but it's this really hot new British singer that everybody's going to love. And we had these great nights and getting packed in because everybody loved it. One reason was the music, and she would curate the music. And it was Amy Winehouse. It's like 2005, 2006, whatever it was. You're just like, what is it? And just like that kind of,
Yeah.
But we had.
That's when the scene was popping. 2007, 2008 in San Francisco, Amy Winehouse would play like the underground clubs in the city.
Yep. So that's what it was. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Some little fuzzy memories, but yeah. And we. So we had Framboise on tap, these 36 taps, but we had this AleSmith Horny Devil, right? And it was 14.5% beer. And we got to a point where we had to limit people to 3 of them.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any liquor, until the owner closed it down and then just brought everything up. Anyhow, that's a whole other thing. But we would put the Framboise in the Horny Devil, and it became like a cocktail.
Oh, wow.
And all the girls just wrecked,
I bet.
We put them like in a schmay glass,
Because isn't Framboise a malt liquor?
So that's malted, but it's sweet.
Yes.
And then it's on this and just
14% beer.
Oh,
you're done. You're cooked.
Just sorority girl drunk, man.
Yeah, you're a horny devil Framboise at that point. You just turn into a raspberry. You turn into a raspberry.
Well, all this talking makes me want to have a drink. So we're gonna do what's called raw dogging it. And
okay.
I know that you're a Classa girl.
Yes.
So I did get you some Reposado.
Okay.
This is
Monte Alban.
Monte Alban.
Oh man.
With the price point at Total Wine, who doesn't they don't sponsor us, but they totally could if you really wanted to. And they definitely have the best prices around here. And this was, I'm actually kind of enjoying they've done a little work on the bottle. Good for them. I mean, I know it's not like a Bell, but this was a $11.99.
Oh boy! Oh man! Okay, for you, Bryce, I will.
Thank
for
you.
Anybody else, no, needs to be a $75 bottle and higher. Please take notes. I don't do that, but for Bryce, I will do that.
Thank you. We're the real ones here.
We're the real ones. We've been through the trenches together, but everyone else, $75 bottle minimum. Okay.
And we do this raw. We don't get them chilled. No lime. I like to get a beer and just tequila. I might squeeze a little lime in it if I'm just trying to sip on it a little bit more, you know what I mean? But that's about as much as...
I'm already heavy breathing, man. This is like... Oh, God. Okay. Okay, not bad.
Seems
maybe palatable. We'll see.
I was at...
Anything's better than Patron, okay?
Bro. You know what? They say that when tequila is sticky, it's bad. Right?
Is it sticky?
It's not. It means that they put the chemicals in it. Okay. Which is one of the top bigger brands started doing, and you can really feel it.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
You know which ones? I don't want to trash talk.
I've heard a few brands that I've drank and enjoyed don't always have the best ingredients.
I know, right?
So I just know how it makes me feel at the end of the day. So
yeah, unless you're just drinking rubbing alcohol, it's actually kind of tough to get a really bad tequila, a bad tequila, like because the ingredients that go in it to make it an actual what it is. It's not like
vodka. I've had really bad vodka before.
Yeah, but that's also why you
really
get.
Bad.
I have one in that freezer from one of our episodes. It was a $6 fifth of vodka.
You know what I don't understand with vodka is I've had really bad vodka, but then the higher end vodka still tastes the same.
Yeah.
So I've had things like Ciroc 10 and Belvedere and Grey Goose, and it's like, it's like, okay.
All right. So, any San Francisco toast?
Boy. I cheers to life. We cheers to life. Okay.
I've had worse.
Me too.
I mean, I've had worse that was more expensive.
Yeah, I've had worse that was more expensive too. This is actually not that bad.
Right? You know what? It's the bottle. Like I gotta, like look at. They've actually done some really nice work here, and that stuff's not cheap. I mean, it's not. I don't say expensive, but I mean.
I halved my shot, so.
Yeah, it's very Aztec in here.
I'm a lightweight, so.
It's okay. You can.
Asian glowing very soon. Cherry red coming very soon.
So, what was your first club job in LA?
My first club job in LA was actually Exchange. So, I moved here with nothing, and I thought that I would go right into health and building my own business, and then money was not coming in. Food was not there. So it was like, how do I make money? Based on my skill set from San Francisco, I was like, okay, I'm gonna cold email some venues. And I cold emailed Exchange, and I got a response back. And so it took maybe about 4 weeks, and then I started training as an operations manager at Exchange.
So why don't we do, since we're already already going down that rabbit hole, let's talk about the Insomniac family and whatnot. Like just so we.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to tell people.
Yeah. For those who don't know.
Oh yeah. So for those who don't know, Exchange falls under the umbrella of the Insomniac clubs in California. In Southern California, that includes Exchange LA, Academy LA, Time in the OC, Nova in San Diego, Bloom in San Diego, and now Avalon in Hollywood as well. So.
And what's the one in Denver? They're in Denver now.
There is
too,
Denver.
right?
Church, I believe, and there's another one. The name currently escapes me. But Church is an Insomniac club as well. And then across the country, you're looking at Echo Stage in Washington, D.C. I believe they have a partnership at Space Miami. And I'm sure there's like other clubs.
No, but it's just, it's for, it's funny because like, I think I was telling you, it might have been at my birthday last year when I came back, where people were going to these EDM festivals in North Carolina and Virginia and stuff, and I see them, and it's like, and I'm like, that's cute. I mean, because it's not, and now they're thirsty for it, they're hungry for it, they want it.
It's new for them. It's novelty. It's something that they've never done before.
And between, the now the 3 LA clubs, you're talking on any given night between those 3 clubs, you're talking about 6,000 or 7,000 people. Just wild.
It's wild.
Jackie and I met working at Academy LA. Academy LA is one of the biggest EDM clubs in the world.
I would say it's the best.
Hey,
I loved our Academy family so much,
And we would do on a big night, which was a lot of times it'd be 2,000 plus people. Like we'd get like 1,200, 1,300. We're like, like it was nothing. Like, God, it's so dead. Anybody want to go home?
Under 1,000 people, we would be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is it dead? If we're hitting like 1,300, 1,500, we're like, okay, we're dialed in. And we're moving.
Yeah. So that was, and I remember when Cam hired me, and he said, he goes, you're going to love these people here. And
that's awesome.
And generally, and the amount of people, like, so I was the door manager, so I had free reign to let in, even though people would pay, anywhere.
Bryce tried to be greased so many times. People were like trying to give you lots of money, I'm sure.
And note to club owners that watch this, pay your door managers well, and they won't take the money.
100%.
And they did.
Super key player.
Right? Super
key.
easy, you know?
But a key
Give them vacation days and do the nice things, and you don't do that stuff. It's so easy, you know? And then you don't have to, and then the quality control stays, you know, regular. And and then when the few times that we did, you know, I mean over 4 years of being there, you know, we had plenty of things because it's just what it is. But I remember at one point, I mean, I've always been proud of it when I've been running doors around town that we've been able to talk people down or whatever. But some people you just can't. I mean, there's just going a little off topic, but one of my we would always used to laugh because we would find like the cans of Four Loko and Beatbox and stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, and they'd be like right in line. They'd be trying to sneak it but in the parking lot, you know, you're like, oh, just litter with it. And now one of the biggest partners
is Beatbox, and the fucking Buzzballs.
Buzzball and Buzzballs were number one. Dude, one.
I'm like, are you really gonna pregame on that? Like, please. At least get an $11 bottle of tequila.
Right? You're going to do so much more with that.
It's going to be so much better than a Buzzball or a Beatbox where, like, you don't even, I mean, what does blue taste like?
House music parties,
for sure.
you know, it was always the best. And look, it's Hollywood, baby. We're going to talk about good-looking people. And I'm just telling you, the best-looking crowd was always the house music crowd.
Yep.
You know, and look, I mean, we're working and we're single a lot of the times during it, and it is what it is, and you meet people, and the you know, I'll have to put this up on the screen, but God, some of those outfits, they were the most elaborate outfits.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For a Thursday night.
Oh yeah.
You know,
some of the outfits, some of the fashion. I was always pleased when a really cool artist would bring out people who would dress up, because otherwise the clubs I feel like that we worked at that are so massive that bring in literally everyone, the fashion, I was like, that's what you went with today, you know? I mean, it's not exclusive. We're not doing Studio 54 as much as I would love to, you know? And I did that, I feel like, for some of the parties that I worked with, is like very hand-holding in the first couple of years of like vibe checks, which helped build those parties. But some of the fashion for house music parties has been amazing.
Yeah.
And other parties is kind of like dubstep parties. I'm like, that's what you chose to wear today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
No shade, but like.
But also, like, some of these people, like, you paid all this money for a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, every once in a while, those early tickets, somebody might get a $10 or $15 one, but it usually jumped up to $65 to $100 very quickly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, I can smell your job on your shirt right now.
Oh my God.
And you paid and you're going to go in and, like, what do you, I mean, what was our cheapest drink? It was a beer. It was $8 or $9.
I think a beer. I mean, water at $7, but
bottled water.
Yeah.
And like, man, guys, like, you maybe just want to shower or something, you know, or get. I mean, maybe not shower. I shouldn't say that. I'll be a dick. But I mean, sometimes people come in. Like, I'm like, man, you're at a nice place, and girls are going to want you to be guys, because a lot of times it's guys. You know?
Kind of off of that, I would always be really surprised when I had a guest issue and people were trying to spend their last $40 at the club. Or they would get their card declined at the bar, or they would get their card declined at box office, and they're like, look, I have $25 in my account.
That's right,
and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if you should be at the club right now, you know? I mean, going out with my friends and dancing is definitely a part of my self-care, but I don't know if you should be spending your last dollars on alcohol at the club. I think you need to be going to work, maybe at the club. Like, you need to go to work, you know?
That is, you know, I remember this very much. And, you know, the one thing about being at the door was, you know, I always had to overlook, you know, the front bar as well. And to see that's, I just would feel so bad, because I feel bad for folks. I mean, if that's your release, that's what it is. But daggone. So we'll start this one.
Okay.
So I didn't want to not do Clamato, you know, and I like to get stuff from the rail, but there's not much more rail than Clamato, you know. I mean, I personally like it with I like the spicy V8. It's kind of my favorite.
Same.
But this has got the clam juice in it, and I didn't want to deal with, you know, doing a
Yeah.
A bunch of that stuff.
Woof.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know how I feel about clam juice, and
Well,
I will take a sip.
Oh no, but it's already in the Clamato. Did you not know that?
No, I know it's in the Clamato.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't know if I like the taste.
Oh, well, I'll make short ones then.
Okay, you can pour it here, and then I will take a sip for you. But
movie magic will make it disappear.
okay, sounds good. We'll make it disappear later.
All right, but of course, I was like, Worcestershire goes in it, and I went ahead and got the real Worcestershire. Didn't get the lay-in parents. My dad's killing me, but I don't care. It's part of the theme. So. Yeah, it was. But I would make a lot of meat when I was back in North Carolina over my little hiatus. I'd always make some bloody beers for folks, and it didn't quite pick up there. This one is, let's see. I'm really good at eyeballing things.
A lot of lime, right?
Oh yeah. So we are going to. This is this drink is from a bar that's no longer around. It's called Trader Vic's. It's one of the 1934. It's one of the original tiki bars.
Tiki bar.
Yeah. And,
Trader Vic's is iconic. I actually have a drink book.
Oh, their book. Yeah.
Yeah, I have their book.
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
vintage. I was getting inspiration from that. All right, cheers.
Tastes like a hangover breakfast.
It does. Not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, to be honest.
Oh God, you sound like all my ex-girlfriends. Bryce, he's not as bad as they think.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Well, I think one of the things that gets left out of these is Worcestershire.
Yeah, that helps round it out for sure. The flavor.
The acidity of the tomato juice and the lime can be there, and the Worcestershire really people forget about it. I mean, I love cooking with it. But that's also one that really gets left out of Bloody Marys a lot.
Yeah, I think the Worcestershire is necessary.
Yeah.
It really adds depth of flavor to the tomato.
Right?
Or Clamato.
It starts and you're like, oh, yeah.
the world-class Clamato. Cannot forget the Clamato.
So, with working in nightlife in general, you are a beautiful young woman.
Thank you.
And I, of course, me, I'm Mr. Middle of the Road, whatever. And I've seen it happen, and it sucks. How do you deal with so many times people talk down to you and like, who is this? Where's the real boss? And
you remember that moment where someone was like, "You're the manager"? Oh man, that was a real surefire way to get me fired up. I feel like I'd flip into a gremlin, to be honest. I would just be like, tick, 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 boom, and then I give them these certain kind of eyes, and they would be cowering in a heartbeat. But it's really challenging. It's super challenging.
Because look, we build our power base, as humans and adults, and I'm 21-year-old Jackie that must have been difficult. Then as to 20-ish-year-old Jackie now.
Mhm. Yeah.
How did you find your power?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's been really challenging being a female in nightlife, and typically there might be like one or two other females on the team. I found my power in just knowing and understanding that I've tried my best, because I've been put in certain situations where I've had to put out multiple fires at the same time and started to spin and spiral out of control. And then I just have to pause for a second and realize I'm trying to do my best. And that's all I can really do is just show up and do my best, to be present, try to hear people out and just do my best. And so that's where I feel like I gained a lot of that sort of self-confidence in like making the calls that needed to be called, and to really advocate for myself, and then to advocate for the other people on my team. So, yeah.
I feel like, it's always been my side hustle. Mm-hmm. I knew when I was working that if I ended up having to call you about something, I knew you were going to back me so hard. And it made me not have to ever get really particularly angry, or, look, every once in a while, hands had to be thrown because they threw it first.
Totally, totally
but
understand.
Most of the time, I was able to just, and I feel like it's like dogs and bees smell fear. Well, people in the line at nightclubs, they can tell if you're not sure of yourself, and they will try to take advantage of you. They'll pass the IDs. They'll try to pull the liquor, the drugs, and I never had to worry about that. I appreciate that from you doing that, but obviously it goes on so many different levels.
Well, I feel like we've all worked as a team, and I feel like the time that we were working together was a really special time where all of us had each other's back, and we were really dialed into making Academy and the club the greatest it could possibly be. And I feel like when you surround yourself with an environment, or even if you just surround yourself with people that are really ambitious and really great at what they do and strive to be better every single day, then it creates this synergistic magic where we all kind of feed off of each other. Like, I knew I could call my co-managers if I wasn't feeling something, or if I was feeling a certain type of way, and they would help talk me through it. And then we'd be like, all right, how do we get this bag? You know what I mean? Like, let's make money tonight. And it starts at, the front of the venue, and then it translates to the inside of the venue, and the staff and the bussers and the barbacks and the bartenders and the bottle servers, and then it translates to the artist relations and the talent. Security is a huge part of that, and it's really an energetic thing. And I think too, if you're not the kind of person that does well in corporate, like, I'm not really a corporate person. Like, I like to swear, like, I like to talk some shit, and I like to talk about real shit that can make people feel uncomfortable. And I feel like Nightlife has really helped shape me to who I am today, and also gave me the freedom to just be myself and express myself, and just be about the vibes and party, Yeah,
it was always really funny there that they let me dress the way I dress.
When you're wearing pink, on a Friday, I was like, maybe we should save that for a day trip or like a daytime thing,
Oh my God, would you let me wear on? So let's get into day trip. Because I am enamored and in awe of what you did.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
It was it was the highlights of the year. Like waking up on a Sunday after going to the afters after a Saturday shift.
You went to the afters? How many times did you do that?
It wasn't many times, but...
I had no idea.
Because,
I'm always, like, to the staff that would go to the afters after work, then to day trip, I'm like, come on, you guys.
I was chasing a girl, what I mean?
Okay.
I'm like,
well, worth it then.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll do it again, and then... So, day trip was this really fun Sunday party that we would do, that it was the brainchild.
I can't take all the credit because it did start a year before me, but in terms of the experiential piece of it and really getting it to where it is, like, I 100% own that. Like, it was my baby, My director came to me and said, here's the tea. He was like, this looks like some rich kid is throwing a party in his backyard. And I just got this really intense gut feeling of like, how am I going to fix this? So with a few other people that backed me and supported my creativity, I was going to the flower district in Los Angeles and pulling purple flowers because it inspired me that week. And at the beginning of the summer of 2019, when I started, we were begging people to come off of the street. And by the end of the summer in 2019, we were completely sold out. And I met a lot of resistance with the decor. I definitely wasn't an expert at it. Then as it grew, I was able to hire an external team to do it, who's amazing at it, and it just kind of blossomed from there. So it's pretty wild. And then
VW bus is famous, man.
I know. I mean, now it's a 25,000 person festival, and I value so much of the people like yourself that helped start the guest experience and made it what it was at the small portion of the patio at Academy with a 500 cap, you know, and now we inspired a 25,000 person festival. Like, that's pretty insane. Not many people can do that. Like, there's only one legendary Bryce wearing the pink shorts and the flamingo top with the pink glasses and the tank.
The stringer tanks, and just muscles out in tandem, but people came up.
It was an experience. Yeah. And that's the thing. And you were a part of that experience, and you're the first person that people see. And that adds to the experience. And I wanted people to walk in and just experience something completely different than any other club or party. And I think we successfully achieved that. And now to have a 25,000 person festival, I got to say it one more time, like, we inspired that shit. You know what I mean? It's kind of wild.
Yep.
It's kind of wild to think about.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tell you, when I knew, I mean, I always dug it, you know, obviously, but like when I remember when it was, when really, and I'll tell you, it was already something, but we'd always have our core, right? Our core regulars, you know, that were there, which is amazing to say. You have hundreds and hundreds of regulars every week, you know, coming up from the South Bay and Agora and San Diego. But when everybody else found out, and I remember this one day, you know, because we have to check, you know, for drugs, you know, because it is a part of, you know, it's a part of that culture, but
it's also an 8-hour party.
It's in 90 degrees plus, and we're not pro or anti-drug or anything here, but people will get so exhausted we'd have to have a medic on staff. And we didn't want people to be irresponsible. And do you remember that day, that woman, she had a Walmart bottle of pills, and it was what's the medication that makes you concentrate?
Adderall.
It was like 200 pills. She goes, "It's my prescription."
It was too much. It's too much.
And that was the one that we're in this like weird part of society. We're like, well, it's my prescription. We're like, all these like these
or the ones with mixed pills in the bottle. And then you have to look at it, but then according to like ADA regulation, you can't really ask them like what situation are you in, like what medical or health issue. So you have to word your questions right. But then the people that would come in with mixed pills, you're like Googling shit on the side.
Right. Yellow and green with the number 47.
And you would like do that and
you're
tell
like,
me.
Whoa, that's a stage 1 barbiturate. And you're like, no, honey, if you take this and drink, you're going to die. You know, like, and we just have to protect people.
That's the thing that I was always a little bit confused about, is I understand that certain people need certain things in order to help them feel more stable, more secure, more concentrated. But what I didn't understand is if you're going to a club and you're bringing in like a large amount of that stuff, why? You know, oh, well, I need to take it. Like if I have an anxiety attack and I'm like, this is a dark room with bright lights and loud music. It is stressful for anybody. That's what it is. It's stressful. It's fun, but it's also very stressful to the system. And so I'm like thinking like, can you regulate yourself and notice your signs when you're starting to come up and then be like, okay, actually I need to go home now. You know, like that self-regulation piece. And I think we've seen a lot of people that have lost the ability to self-regulate, but that's the whole point. If you are really about this party lifestyle, if you are really about the culture, then you know how to self-regulate. You should know how to self-regulate because it's important to be like, okay, I've had enough. I need to calm down a little bit or go outside or chill out. I don't understand the people that like really took it too far. I'm like, are you about this life?
First time I ever saw somebody drink straight from the bottle at a club was at Academy. When people started, those girls started, I'm like, oh my God. Also,
oh my God, that is hella funny.
Right?
That's how I drink, is from the bottle. No, I'm dead ass. Like, I have pictures of myself from like baby Jack, and she's drinking Grey Goose straight from the bottle.
I never, man.
I have it on my phone. I'll have to show you later.
Wow.
I used to drink from it's actually my favorite way to drink, actually, is from the bottle. I like taking a pull. You didn't know that about me, huh? I'm like, clase azul, let's just knock it back.
God, man.
You're like, I can't believe these girls drank from the bottle. I'm like, actually, that's my preferred method. My preferred vessel is the bottle.
The guy who said he spent 9 years in college is like verklempt here, you know.
It is what it is. When I have a bottle in my hand, just take a little pull.
It's so California though too, man. Like, it's a different type of hard partying. Like the Southern partying, and we are. The thing about like Southern partying is like, and it is an all day, all night power nap, whatever, football, beach, whatever. But in California, I've seen the nightlife. I've seen here, and it's an intense 4 to 5 hours.
You're right. It's very intense. I feel like that's kind of like New York too, though.
Yeah.
New York, like everyone drinks, everyone, and they must do it in like a even shorter amount of time. New York minute, like 3 hours. Like you are getting fucked up in like 2.5 to 3 hours, and that is what you do. Here in LA, it's like, oh, let's just have a sipper, like maybe over 4 or 5 hours, but we'll get there. Everyone's gonna get there, but New York is intense when it comes to the nightlife culture and drinking culture for sure.
Whew, okay, after we've tag teamed, tapped you out there, picture, you know.
Appreciate it.
So our final, we've got the pink glasses out. This is called the Honey Trap. So Honey Trap is it's the tequila. Thank you. So it's tequila. It's ground ginger. I like the pickled ginger because it's a little sweeter. And honey, of course. Kosher salt here. Tequila. And you put a little water to blend that all together. And
very nice.
Bro. Okay, Honey Trap.
I'm excited for this.
Me too, actually. I hope it's not bad.
Love a drink with a little prayer.
All right. Then we don't have to finish it all.
Sure. We already know you're going to finish it for me. I can't drink it. Help.
Herp. How about that? How about I just eyeballed the fuck out of all that?
That was perfect. Great job.
Other than the couple shots of liquor, everything else I eyeballed the crap out of.
That's amazing.
Interesting.
That's usually...
There's a lot of honey in there too.
I like it. I might add ginger beer for a little effervescent situation.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah.
I love a little sparkle.
This recipe comes from Food and Wine. Granted, you know, we're balling on a budget here, so it's either food or wine. They wanted bee pollen on the rim with the salt, and that just seemed too complicated because I want y'all to make this at home.
Yeah.
But it's a solid tequila cocktail.
Yeah, I actually think it's pretty great.
Yeah.
There's no bite at the end. It rounds it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is one you can sit around and drink for a bit, and you know, it looks pretty. You know,
it's pretty.
The blending with the ginger, I think, worked really well. So I took the ginger and put it in my Vitamix and blended it first. We didn't have time for that crap here. You know what? It does taste like a proper crafty, you know, a craft cocktail.
I like it.
So I'll just say the culmination of what you've been doing as a manager, as an event coordinator, you have to really deal with artists.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna cut through the mustard here. Any anecdotes from artists that are on a level that a lot of people would understand, maybe even normies might understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That that you could talk about.
Yeah. I have a few really memorable stories with some artists that are very top tier, that play EDC, that play the clubs pretty frequently. One of them is like the highest paid DJ in the world. had a really amazing experience. Can I name drop names?
That's the idea, man.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, Steve Aoki, one of the most professional people that I worked with, he's amazing, really great to his staff, really great to his team. He's also really healthy, completely sober. And so that was really interesting to connect with him.
No, so I have a Shaq moment.
Oh, yeah.
I have a
oh
Shaq Diesel moment.
Yeah.
So do you have any? And let's talk about moments, because what makes it personal, and that's what we're here for.
I mean, speaking about Shaq, DJ Diesel, the one moment that I had with him was on the stairs at Academy to the stage, and I just stood there. I mean, I'm 5'2", and I was like, holy shit, this guy's big. That was my one Shaq moment. That was my one.
So mine was, because he played for us at least twice while I was there. And so we had this whole thing. I me, Mr. North Carolina, Mr. East Carolina, my school. We have this thing called Doggy Jams. They do every year. A place called Sup Dogs, which is a hot dog and cocktail place.
Oh, cool.
Right, but it's the most popular bar there. It's awesome, a lot of fun. And
sounds like a vibe.
Oh, and they bring the best concert every year. They'll do like Waka Flocka.
Nice.
And it's great, right? And they've had DJ Diesel there a couple times, right? And so he comes in and he does this great thing, and I've got a little video of it, and we can B-roll it. And he was so much fun. And do you remember when he goes out of the crowd? He goes, "Push me, come on, you motherfuckers, push me, fight me," and because he starts playing hardstyle.
Right, mosh pit.
And one of the things I love about him is that he knows how to have a party, but he wants to appeal to everybody that's there.
Yeah, makes sense.
God, that guy knows a party.
Yeah, he really does.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah. A lot of them, I feel like because of the access of music that we were exposed to, I've become even more particular about music.
Yeah.
So there are some DJs that completely stand out to me in terms of shows, and the rest kind of just blend together. But one group that I really loved working with was Dioro.
Do you mind if I...
Go ahead.
Oh, so let me finish my Shaq story.
Yeah.
Right? And so when he finishes up, and my door's done, everybody's getting out, but we go to our green room, and goes down, and it was so funny because our green room is like this short ceiling. I mean, I'm 6'1", and it's short to me, and he's in there, and he's just drinking, having a water, I'm talking. Adam Alban was there. Everybody was there because of Shaq, and I'm waiting for my moment, and I'm just hanging out, and he walks by. I say, hey, Shaq, man, what's up, homie? And I think I had my yellow or my pink jacket, one of my many bright sport coats. Right? He goes, that swag. I can't match that swag, man. They can make them big enough for me. I said, hey, man. I said, oh, thanks, man. I said, hey, man. I said, I'm from Greenville. I went to ECU. He goes, Sup, dogs? Best out there. Best in business.
No way. What a cool moment. That's really cool.
And I love, me, Mr.
That's awesome.
And we're like, you remember how I'd always be like, hey, I'm going home in a few weeks, and you know how excited I'd be.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
And that was.
I love connecting with people like that. That's really cool.
Like, man, you're like one of the greatest.
Down to earth.
And my little you went to LSU. I mean, the whole So you were saying.
I have so many moments of working with people, and some with celebrity moments as well, like sports moments.
I was going to say something about that, because the thing about EDM, and I don't even know what to call it. It used to be called electronica. That's what it was. And but now I believe that's become its own genre. But apparently not apparently. In particular, like Dead Mouse used to be electronica, right?
Yeah.
And I would love it, by the way, when he would show up with his side project.
Oh yeah, Test Pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Techno.
And
very different.
What it felt like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I'm about that, OG rave culture, original rave culture. I really like that. That's a vibe that
I never met him. Did you?
Did I meet him?
I always felt like he was in and out very quickly.
Our paths have crossed a few times from a distance. I remember the first time that I saw him was at a rave here in LA in maybe 2008 or something like that. And he didn't have his helmet on, and
What? Why wouldn't he wear it? I heard he wears it when he fucks.
Oh my God. Wild, just wild. And then I did see him when we opened Nova, and he played as well.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that was a cool moment.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I never thought I would. I mean, it's one of these things where I'm glad for my little part in those 5 years in that culture, and people are very kind to me, and I enjoy the people more than anything. But I'll tell you who I do put on from time to time. I mean, so my niece is talking about you, Lily. She's my best friend. My niece is my best friend. I'm not afraid to admit it. And she's about to. She has an interview for a really big government agency as soon as she graduates. I'm so very proud of her.
That's awesome.
Even though I wish she would be a producer, because she'd be boss producer.
That's awesome.
But Doses and Mimosas are our song.
Oh, Cherub. Mm-hmm.
And when they came in, and they were just like, and I actually got a little, because we have a lot of memories behind that song. I mean, it is one of those things, you put it on YouTube, it's 1 billion.
It's iconic. That song is iconic. I remember my first moment with Doses and Mimosas. It was Outside Lands, small side stage, and they started playing it, and the crowd just erupted. So I completely understand. I actually did hospitality for athletes in San Francisco. A lot more celebrities, I feel, came to the San Francisco clubs that I worked at rather than the LA clubs. We had like Demi Lovato come to Academy.
Oh, I remember. I remember.
Yeah, when I was working at Exchange,
she came in. She had her people come through the back, and she was there for like an hour or an hour and a half.
Super quick. When I was working at Exchange, Benny Benassi was playing, and then I ended up receiving Sophie from Sophie Tucker, and then Tucker came on another night, and like luckily it was just the right place, right time where I recognized them, and I was like, okay, come with me, like I'll take you through the back.
It's funny because Benny's one of those guys. He's like in his 40s, and most people don't realize that.
I actually think he's older than 40.
Might be. Yeah, no, you're probably right. But he's been around.
I think he's in his 60s.
No.
We gotta fact check that.
Because it's
he's my favorite.
You know what though? I gotta say this. I'm gonna put this on that thing. Touch me, and you feel
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction
iconic.
That is iconic.
Iconic
That's,
song.
Adding that to my 3-4 list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
that's also probably the
fantastic
hottest,
DJ.
one of the 3 or 4 hottest music videos.
100%.
Damn.
Iconic music video, iconic song. Another spicy one that he produced was called I Love My Sex.
Yes.
That one's a deep cut. I Love My Sex is a great deep cut Benny Benassi song.
Do you remember when Damon Wayans Jr. came in?
Damon Wayans Jr.
So, Damon Wayans.
I think so.
He came in on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And
oh God.
He's a handsome fucker. It's super annoying. He's starring on Shrinking now on Apple TV. But my buddy Bill does that show, and but he comes up, and I know exactly who he was.
Right.
Right. And
I think you did text me about this one.
Oh, I did. Yeah. And
oh gosh.
Then I'm not trying to throw it over.
No, go for it. Go for it.
But he comes up, and he literally he goes, "Hey man, he goes, I don't have a ticket."
I remember this moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And he gives me a hundo, and I go, "Man," I said, "I can give this back to you. I can ask." He goes, "I just ask you to ask." I'm like, "I'm not doing anything wrong here, okay?" And you never got too far, but you looked at him and you go, "Oh, he's famous and he's hot? Yeah, of course. Come on, sell him a ticket." And you made him buy a ticket still.
Oh my God, I did that. Oh shit. I probably would.
If you end up watching this, man, sorry.
Oh shit. I should have guest listed you. My bad.
I know, right?
Was it sold out?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's probably why I made him buy a ticket. Oh, I remember making him buy a ticket. Oh shit. Oh God.
And
yeah.
I didn't want, but he goes. So, but then he came a few times after that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he had a great experience. When you're asking me like my favorite moments with certain DJs, I'm like thinking about a 13-year career in nightlife. I'm like, I have some standout moments, like some moments where I was really affected or like impacted. but the rest is a blur. I'm like, I think I remember that night, and I was sober.
Yeah, right. There's so many things going on.
Yeah.
You know. One night we were coming, we got fire marshaled, right?
Oh boy, yeah. I remember.
So
those
people don't know
greatly.
The strongest people. It's not the health department. It's not the LAPD. It is the fire marshal.
Yeah.
The second you have too many people, they can stop you. They can shut you down if they want to.
Yeah.
But they gave us and we just got fire marshaled.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even one of our bigger nights, but it's, they come in and do what they do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think we hit 2,000.
Were you working Halsey's private birthday party on Halloween? That was one of those moments where I went toe-to-toe with LAPD, and that was a moment where I was like, oh shit, like this is an issue. Because her bestie or manager or one of her people was handing wristbands over me. And remember, it was a half moon blocking the sidewalk outside of the club. Even though it's a completely private party, half moon of people. And I remember, I think it was either Fire Marshal LAPD coming up to me, yelling in my face, if you don't figure this out, we're going to shut this shit down. And I was like, oh my God,
remember,
how am
it was
I
her
going to regulate
fan club
this?
or somebody that blasted on IG, birthday party at Academy tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of celebrities ended up showing up that night and waited in their cars, I remember. Like, they were fully dressed in amazing costumes, and they were trying to get in. And I remember denying people, like, I heard Janae Aiko, like, her stylist came up to the front and was like, Janae looks amazing. She's, like, ready to come into the club. She really wants to get inside. And I was just like, I just had LAPD scream at me in my face, like, you better fucking regulate this shit or we're going to regulate you. And I'm like, oh my God. The amount of stress that I felt in that moment was insane.
I'll never forget that night.
I will never forget that
because
night.
it wasn't a weekend. It was like a Wednesday or a Thursday.
You're right. Yeah, it was midweek. And there was a Ferris wheel in the fucking parking lot. That's why I was like, there's a Ferris wheel at the club. This is crazy.
I love those weird parties that we would do like that.
That was pretty epic.
That people would bring an ice luge and so it was one of these fire marshals nights, and this comedian comes up, big comedian, Netflix special, big. And do you remember that show Wilfred that was on FX? The guy who dressed in a dog suit. Right, the flap, it was just a dude's face.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think so. I'm not super big on television, but
it's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
And he's like Australian or whatever, and so this comedian walks up, who also is Australian, and at the moment, and we just got fired, I was like, oh, this is the Wilford guy, right? And somewhere on the screen, something. And I see him. It was so embarrassing.
Oh God.
So.
Did I deny him?
No.
Okay,
It was at the end. No. Everybody was inside dealing with crap, and it was just me out there.
Yeah.
And he's in the guest list line, and I go, hey man. He goes, and does this look to me? He goes, because he realized.
You know who I am. Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but it was enough to where I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you know what, man? I love Wilfred. He goes, yeah, me too. And he goes, you know I'm not Wilfred, right? It was Jim Jeffries.
Oh, you got him mixed up?
And I go, yeah, no. I just figured, you're both from, like, that area. Come on in. He goes, yeah.
You're like, you're getting in for free.
Yeah, I was
My bad. You need another drink? Here you go.
So embarrassing. Can I get you a drink ticket?
Yeah.
Okay, we're done here.
Yeah. I get it.
So, Jim, if you watch this,
we know who you are.
So dumb. I was like, 1,000 out of 1,000 right with celebrities, but I was wrong that time.
Yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes. There's a lot of doppelgangers out there too.
But he just had a Netflix special, but it was just completely different people.
Oh my God.
So what's it like dating? When you're because you are the head person, HBIC, head beautiful person in charge.
Oh, thank you. It was
because so many people
really
in particular.
Yeah.
And I've never seen. Maybe it's because it was a ticket system we did.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be like with Theo and our friends at Desert 5, where it's a drink or two. That's whatever.
Right.
I mean, how do you tell if a guy's real when he meets you at the club?
That's a really good question. I ended up meeting somebody at Day Trip, and we dated for a little bit. But it's more of a thing where he pursued me really, really hard, and made it very clear and very known that he wanted to spend more time with me. And I do feel that when I was operating, and when I do operate still, I step into a very masculine energy. And that's not always approachable for a lot of other men, I feel. I think I looked different when I was working the club. I feel like I had a different air about me when I was working the club. And so I'm not so sure that that's approachable. Plus, I'm sorry, I'm not fucking with anybody in GA. I'm sorry. Like, you need to
General admission, by the way.
You need to be swiping the card and like buying bottles, or you need to be on the backside of the artist's like creative stuff. You know, like, there's a lot of single guys at the club that show up alone or maybe with their guy friends, and I would walk by them, but the approach was really inappropriate. They would end up grabbing my wrist, grabbing my hand, grabbing my shoulder.
And how many times did I say when guys would do this thing, oh, honey, don't listen to me.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing
Yeah, I know.
The time when, I know everybody, I'm always really nice here, but how angry.
Yeah, you would switch. And we all do. You know, somebody grabbed my jacket.
I can't believe how many guys would just touch you.
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, honey, don't you know who? Oh, God, they used to call you honey.
Yeah. They would just grab my arm or try to get my attention and like say, hey, like yell at me. And I'm like, this is not the way that I want to be approached. And so I do feel like dating in nightlife has always been a challenge, and having a really long, healthy career in nightlife, a lot of my former boyfriends and exes would have a huge issue with that. Like, they think that, oh, you're at the club. I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not, I'm working, but it was
I would, as your
pretty
friend,
big
if you
issue.
had said, hey, talk to Bryce, he'll tell you exactly, how I am here. And of course, it's like, I never, all of us, I mean, we're like an offensive, defensive line together.
100%. We're a team. Yeah.
Right? And there was like, the last thing in our mind was sex. Which,
Yeah.
until like, maybe, for me, not with coworkers or anything.
Sure.
Maybe like 1 o'clock, 1:30, and girls like, hey, what are you doing later? At that point, I'm like, well, I'm off here in a few minutes. I mean.
Yeah, but I have to like cash out and stay till like
on the other
4
hand, are
4
just.
a.m. all the time.
And remember how I would always, at the end, just like, I would like, and you're like, okay, I gotta go. Like, I gotta get these people out of here, Bryce. Have a good night, Bryce. Have a good night, Bryce. But that was me decompressing.
Yeah, that makes sense. How has dating been for you when working in nightlife? Because I feel like because you're front of house, like, you get to meet a lot of people. You have the opportunity to be friendly. I feel like in most situations, like, I have to be the hard ass, even if I don't want to be. Even if the situation, I want to be easy on somebody, I still have to be the hard ass. So, like, that's a role that I flip into. But I'm curious to know, like, how is it for you? Well,
first thing I always meant to tell you this. After all these 5 years or so we've known each other, there's a line from one of my favorite Shakespeare plays called The Tempest, and it says, "Yea, may she be small, she be fierce."
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I own that for sure.
And I always loved that. I always knew that about you.
Yeah.
And I always loved that. It depended where I was. The club, every once in a while. And I mean, after, 4.5 years or whatever being there, every once in a while, yeah, I'd go out on a Saturday night, and because if it was worth it, it was worth it, In that world, it was a little disappointing because it was, I love people's passion for the music, but it becomes, it's such a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so many women would live to go to the next festival, to go to the next thing.
Sure.
And that's just not me.
Right.
And physically, like, we're attractive, and all that stuff, but I'm like, babe, can we just, like, cook dinner and hang out and whatever? And like, no, but there's this thing coming up this weekend. It's Lost Weekend. It's
right.
One of the about the EDM world is that there's there's a very small down season. Festival
Very
season
small.
is a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's starting up again. The parties are back.
And I can't do. I'm
Yeah.
like, babe. I'm also. I'm not sure if I would have done. College was one thing. But once you hit 25, 26, 30, 40,
Yeah.
like, man, like actually, I like, oh, you like it that I have a nice body and that I work out.
Yeah.
I can't party 3 days, 4 days a week for 6 months.
Yeah.
And do that. So
You're right. It is a lifestyle. I feel like that's where you and I really aligned, is like also being physically fit and like generally eating correctly, drinking water, staying hydrated. And if you're really sorry, especially if you GA, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're really there for the party.
you getting a glizzy every night when you get off work?
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I do think that a lot of people, the lifestyle appeals. I think you probably experienced that too, right?
Yeah.
Where like
Yeah.
people are like, oh, like we get access, we get guest list, we get free drinks. But when it comes down to it, we're working late nights. We're not home all the time, especially if we're in a sprint. Like, remember that Super Bowl? Like 5 days we were working. I was Ross and I talk about it often.
Girl.
We're different after that. We were just
Just
different.
That was, for me, just for me, it was
Yeah.
like 60 hours in 5 days.
Oh my gosh.
And y'all, as
We
management,
lived there.
yeah, you
Yeah.
it was, and thankfully you had lived in Hollywood at that point.
Yeah.
But poor Ross was in Burbank or Studio City, wherever at the
Yeah.
time. So, I don't know if I can make it home. I was like, hey Ross, if you want to go, I'll give you a key to my place, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't go all the way back.
we felt different after that week, and so it's like, can somebody be really comfortable with the late nights, or maybe even the lack of communication? Because like, I never saw you on your phone when you were at the front, or if I did, I probably would have said something.
It was mostly our WhatsApp, thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, you were giving us a heads up, but it's like, you're not out there texting. I'm only out there we're only on the apps for strictly work, and there's so many things that happen in the course of a night,
And I got to be honest, and I know this, to some people it may make me look like I'm less of a man. After a while, when you're on your feet and you're emotionally involved, man, I just want to have like an avocado and some salmon and go to sleep. I'm not horny. I'm done.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I'm just
still
like,
time.
I don't want to. I don't feel like I could concentrate on somebody
Right.
and be really it like every once in a while, yeah, I'm like, okay, this is a kind of a once in a thing here, but I'm like, I can't give that to you right now.
And I think about this often, because the way that you would interact with every single person is way more than management would ever interact with somebody. Like, I already have rapport with the staff, so I'm interacting with them. Then I'm interacting with the guests on like what kind of situation do I need to diffuse right now? Which is not as much as being at the front, where energetically you're receiving people constantly. You're looking into their eyes, you're making eye contact, you're connecting with them, and then you're like, okay, next. Okay, next.
It's like a stand-up. It was a stand-up routine for everybody. And, and after a while, I was just emotionally drained.
I get it.
Like we were talking, pregame show. Living my creative life, was I just got to stare at the walls. Sometimes I just would, and I had to get off work.
I get it.
Didn't want to play video games. I didn't want to fuck. I just wanted to just be like,
decompress.
Yeah, man.
Decompress. Yeah, and not everyone understands that. I feel not everyone can hold space for that either.
Yeah.
Like, when you've got off of a crazy event run, or you're home at 4 or 5 a.m. and they want to get up and do something, and you're just like, actually, I do need to stare at the wall. Like, I just need some time to reset. And I'm not, while everyone likes the access and the appeal, I'm really, in my personal experience, not everyone is down for it, When
I was gone, I'm going to bring it down and up again. And then I really appreciate the journey that you've taken.
Thank you.
And I wonder, are you at that point where you want to be?
I would say that's a really good question. I'm a very ambitious person, and there's a lot of creative goals that I want to do in my life. And I was speaking about this to some other people, that there's certain things that are almost like you can't put a price on them. Like, I'm talking like money and salary. And that for me, that's doing cool shit. expressing my creativity, living a balanced life. I'm big on my time. Time is really, really important to me. Exactly. Having freedom is really important to me. And so now I actually have that. And that's really, really amazing. There's a lot more that I want to do with my life. I really want to produce a fashion show. I think it would be, I already have the venue. I just need a designer and someone to trust me with it. But there's a lot of things that I want to do that don't necessarily align with like being a GM of a nightclub. You know, I never wanted to be a GM of a nightclub. I just wanted to do cool shit. And I did, you know? And so I'm really, really happy with everything that I've accomplished. I'm excited for the future and to see where that takes me. So, yeah, I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. Yeah.
So we don't like to leave empty drinks here. So.
Okay, all right. Here we go. I will drink some of it.
I'll help.
Okay, sounds good.
Goodness. I'm twice your size. I can do that.
I took a big gulp.
Yeah, you did. Would you do any different?
No, not at all. Not at all. Everything that I've done has led me to this exact moment sitting here with you. And I'm not sure that, I mean, this is so special that I'm not sure that I just don't want it any other way. It's not even not sure. I know I don't want it any other way, you know? So it's perfect. Yeah.
Touch grass and eat ass.